This weekend we have a pair of Munster finals for Monaleen and St. Kieran's. Monaleen play Roscrea in intermediate and St. Kieran's play Ballygiblin in the junior. We'll start with intermediate. Monaleen versus Roscrea. Interesting tie. Two teams that were relegated last year that will see themselves as senior teams, and they've confirmed that for next year. But, first and foremost, they have a Munster final to play. Monaleen got over St. Joseph's Dura Bearfield 2 weeks ago, while Roscrea beat Inniscarra of Cork. It's an interesting matchup, Matt, and it'll be no means easy for Monaleen, but this side have shown, and especially the younger players coming through, that they're no stranger to finals days, and they beat Brough and played very well in county final days. So you'd be hoping for more of the same from a Monaleen point of view.
You would. You said there that both of them were relegated last year. They were relegated in different circumstances. Monaleen were relegated from senior hurling because they simply didn't amass enough points in their 5 games, or whatever the format was last year. Roscrea were relegated through a restructure of the Tipperary Championships. Monaleen, I've been saying for quite a while now, and that the Monaleen team that won the Limerick Championship bears little resemblance to the Monaleen team that were relegated from senior hurling last year. They have shown considerable improvement. There has been the influx and the infusion of new players who are quietly stepping up to the mark. And you the big players on the team, like, they are producing the goods. Like Larkin Lyons is the team captain, Jack. He's in the form of his life.
Yeah,
absolutely superb. We see Mac O'Dwyer, absolutely fantastic. Ed Doyle. The people that you look for leadership are providing it. Andrew Latouche Cosgrave is rapidly coming back to full fitness and will probably certainly in the game against Dora Bearfield put his hand up for that he's fit enough for a starting place in the Munster final. And you've the experienced Jamie Power in goal, who hasn't been really all that well tested this year, because the defence has been forming well in front of him. But they're facing a difficult challenge, Jack. There isn't a doubt about that, because Roscrea were playing Senior B in Tipperary last year, and very, very formidable outfit. Liam England is their manager. He's Eddie Brennan on board in his backroom team, who would know a thing or two about winning matches and winning All-Irelands or winning competitions. 8 All-Ireland medals and 11 Leinster medals to show for it. But of course, Roscrea hold a unique position in the club championships in Jack, whether you know it or not. They were the first team to win the All-Ireland Senior Championship, Clubs Championship, in 1971. And I'm around long enough to remember the team, and there was some very, very big characters in that team, including Tig Murphy in goal, who was in goal on and off for Tipperary at the time. Tig O'Connor captained Tipperary to an All-Ireland victory. You had one of the finest forwards of all time in that team in Francis Loughnane, and you had a certain gentleman at full back, was the late Kieran Carey, who, whether you ever heard of him or not, Jack, Hell's Kitchen.
I have heard of him, all right.
Was the Tipperary full back line, and he was an honorary member of it, more than an honorary member of it, of Hell's Kitchen. That's your history lesson for this week. Now, there's don't be looking for any more, but
okay.
But Kerry had won 4 All-Irelands at that stage with Tipperary in 61, 62, 64 and 65, so and had played in 5 All-Irelands at that stage, so he actually had played in 6, to be honest. But that was the quality. That was the quality and the pedigree that they've had, and since then they don't seem to have been producing the same level of players to the county team, probably with the exception of Big Roger Ryan, who came afterwards and was a very formidable forward, both in size and in hurling prowess. But they have been very, very impressive this year, Jack. Now they got a right they got a right test in the Tipperary final from Gurtnaho Glengool, who they only beat by a point. But when they went into the Munster Championship, they seem to have found a new level. And they were speaking to somebody recently, a referee that had refereed them in a challenge game lately, and he was hugely, hugely impressed with them. They had a very big win over Ballysaggart in the quarterfinal, and like it looked like only a 3 points win or a 2 points win over Inniscarra in the semi-final, Jack. But Inniscarra got 2 late goals.
Yeah,
to put a gloss on the score, like so. There's no doubt at all about the formidability of Roscrea. It's huge. It's a huge test for Monaleen, but Monaleen this year have been rising to test, Jack.
Yeah, 100%.
Like the only team that beat. I have to say this, Jack, because if it was Ballysteen, you would say it. The only team to beat Monaleen this year was Glenroe. Did you know that?
I would have known that. I didn't come to the top of my head now straight away, but I knew where you were going that when you said about Ballysteen. But yeah, go on.
It was very far down your list, I'd say.
It was. But
but like they face tricky challenges, and I'll tell you why. In the last round of the championship, they had a massive win over Effin, if you recall.
Yeah.
Now, the way the championship was set up, what it meant was that they would have to play again the following week in the semi-final, which was a banana skin. Because the day that they played Effin in the final round of the championship, you had a confluence of events. Most notably that you had Monaleen at their best, Effin at their worst on that particular day. And like that was borne out in the semi-final. Because I thought, and we were in agreement, Jack, that Effin were a very, very good side. And right from the start, we were tipping Effin to be in the shake-up. And Effin gave him a real test in the semi-final, as did Bruff in the final. Now, that was the ideal way for preparation for going into a Munster Championship. Fast forward to the Munster Championship, they lead at 5 points at half-time. They see the lead eroded. With 10 minutes to go, they see St. Joseph's Dura Bearfield take the lead twice. They found a response. First time they found an instant response in the shape of an Ed Doyle point to level matters. The second time they found a response with a goal for the ages from Marco Dwyer.
Yeah, brilliant goal.
So, look, if you're talking about resilience, Monaleen have it in spades. And like we spoke about the older players, let's talk about the Brian Kenny, the Ronan Lyneses, the Joseph Fitzgeralds, the Lachlan McLaughlin, Lachlan McHales, Ben Hayes, ready to come off the bench. They all featured in the under-19 final this year against Bruff.
Yeah, they're building. They're definitely building up Monaleen.
And have seamlessly made the transition to adult intermediate hurling, and I've no doubt will seamlessly make it to senior hurling. So Jack, Monaleen are underdogs. Make no mistake about it. But there's a resilience in Monaleen, Jack.
Oh, they've shown that, and I was talking to Umber saying it'll be their 11th game of the year. It's going to be a step up in terms of quality, but they've played all different types of teams so far. They'll be well accustomed to what's going to come their way. This Sunday, 1:00, in Pairc Ui Rinn, is live on Munster JTV if you can't make it for whatever reason. But it promises to be a cracking encounter between two sides that will play senior hurling in Limerick and Tipperary next year. But for now, it's all focused on a Munster final.